Namaste and welcome. I'm Julie Hill with Yoga Body. I help people eliminate pain and get back into doing the activities they love. So today we're going to be looking at just a kind of short practice to loosen up through the hips. Not as traditional as doing some of the deeper stretches, but I'd like you to play around with it and just notice what you noticed in your body after using it for a few days. You can use this practice in the morning and before you go to bed. It's a great way to kind of open up for the day and let things start moving, as well as let them relax and unwind at the end of the day. And for this practice, we're going to use a block. If you don't have a block, you could use a shoe box. You could use a box of something in your cabinet, maybe in your pantry, maybe even a bag of flour. Something that is a little sturdy and can stand on its own would be great. So we're going to start out. We're going to do this laying down, but I just want you to take a look at your legs when you come into external rotation and then bringing it back into a little bit of internal rotation. So you'll notice, and I'll face the camera dead on, we're going to rotate that leg so it comes open and then closed. I'm just starting with my right leg, and just notice kind of how that feels for you, if it feels a little bit clunky or if it's a little jerky. You may even find that when you go to externally rotate the leg, the knee bends and wants to lift. And so just stay in that smaller range that the knee generally stays the same. It doesn't bend to let the movement happen, and that leg can kind of move in and out. And you can check out both legs and see how that is for you. You also may find with this movement that the foot wants to be the leader, that you're not really moving from the top of the femurs. So allow it to move from here versus having the foot just kind of open and close. You'll notice I can actually move my foot to the side without the leg even rotating. The movement I'm talking about is having the leg bones move in the sockets. So we're going to bring this into what I call windshield wipers. We'll just place the block in between the legs, and then we're going to go ahead and lay down onto our backs. I think I'm still in camera here. And then from there, you can be on a pillow if you want, but we're going to bring both that kind of open and closed positioning with the leg bones into play. So I'm going to place the block so it's right between my feet, and then I'm going to start to allow the leg bones to rotate open and then back together, and the feet are just following along. This is a great way just to kind of bring some easy movement into the hip area. Let the lower back relax and let the legs start moving here. And you can kind of just come into this place where you feel work being done through the top of the legs. The feet just kind of follow along. They're just kind of flapping along. And just get that movement going in the leg bones in the hips. Maybe you stay here for about, 8 to 10 breaths, just feeling that movement there, getting a nice pattern going and a softness through your lower back. Let your head relax, your shoulders relax, but keep that movement going. And just that gentle kind of tapping into that block. If you don't have a block, don't worry, you could certainly do it without one. Good, so just generally allowing that to open up. The second movement that we're going to go into, you won't need the block for that. We'll still be on our backs, and we're going to let the leg bone rotate around. So I'm going to start with my right leg, and I'm going to drag my foot and use the leg to pull the leg in, bending the knee, keeping my hips really level to the mat. I'm going to allow this leg to fall open. Now, at this point, if I went too fast, it could bounce and it would rock this left hip up. But we just want to do this kind of slowly so we can notice what is going on with this leg bone and its socket and how much it pulls on the hips. If the hips want to shift weight or they want to rock up or down, just keep them steady and allow the leg to be pushed back down to straight and then gently back to neutral. So knee starting out in the same position it was before. I'm going to pull this leg in, all done from the upper leg. Let it fall open, keeping the hips level. So it may only come a little bit over. It doesn't have to come all the way down, not your deepest, but just being really honest with yourself and noticing what the range is right here. And just making easy circles, right? You can feel a little bit of work being done in the bum and the hamstrings as you push that leg long. Make sure it's not happening in your lower back, that you're really just allowing the leg bone to do most of the work. Good, so just a few times on this side, we'll come to the other leg, same thing here, keeping the hips level, dragging that foot in, letting it fall over to the side, and then pressing that leg out. And noticing that you're keeping even weight through the hips and that you're not bracing in a shoulder to allow that to happen. It's just, we're only taking the leg as far as we can without letting it rock up or having to hold something down. Good. And then just see how you feel. You can go the other direction if you want, letting the leg roll open, dragging that leg in and then up and then down. And we really do want to keep everything else the same, just at ease and relaxed. So you can move through that a few times each leg and noticing how that might start to loosen up through your hips. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and add on one more movement. So just kind of doing what's right for you here. If it's not comfortable for you to be on your knees, then I recommend that you pass on this. But if you're okay being on your knees, we're going to take the right knee and bring it in front of the left. You can accomplish that by simply taking that left knee and stepping it behind the right too if you don't want to swing it forward. Feet come out to the sides. And then we're just going to gently rock back and come back up. And allow yourself just to come back. You'll feel a little bit of opening coming through the side of the hip there. Just easy with your breath as you flow back and come back up. And you can decide to come back and perhaps you want to stay. You can use your block to kind of add a little support here. You could stack your fists and rest your forehead there. Take some deep breaths. For the sake of the video, I'll keep moving on. And then we're going to go ahead and just bring this right knee in the back. So you can either undo your legs and bring the right one in back, or you can just swing it around, whatever is good for you. And again, maybe you have a little padding under your knee, or maybe you pass on this. And we'll just allow the hips to sink back. You could do this from a forearm approach. You'll notice that I'm not really tipping through my hips, that they're staying really level. And then I'm not rounding through my shoulders, that they're staying level, and I'm just sliding back. And again, we're not going for the deepest stretch here. We're just coming into a loosening practice, right? So our breath is easy. Our jaw is soft. There's no bracing going on at all. It's just a nice, easy movement. And if you wanted to come down and stay for a couple of breaths, you could certainly do that. And then work your way out. So I recommend this practice in the morning and in the evening for a few days. You might try it maybe for 7 to 10 days and just notice kind of what shifts you have. If you've been noticing that there's just been a tightness coming in, and maybe when you're doing supine figure 4 to stretch your hips, it's just not really providing you quite the stretch that you want, or perhaps you're looking for something that is a little bit softer. Try it out and notice what you notice. Here's to a happier and healthier you. Reach out to me at Julie with YogaBodyLLC.com with any questions or any ahas. Namaste.